Welcome back. As we earlier talked in our intro about the Ambersoft International Aviation that have chosen Egypt or have stated in their statistics that Egypt is one of the top destinations for tourists worldwide. Why? Because of its weather, warm weather in that harsh winter, and because of its Nile cruises, beautiful long Nile cruises, and because of its antiquities and before historical sites, and because of its friendly nation, the people and the citizens there, and because of its beautiful cuisine and gastronomy, and because of its museums, and you name it, and also because of the culture and folklore. And that's why there are good opportunities awaiting tourism for 2023. And to know more about this lovely news and very colorful news, we're very delighted to be having with us over the phone Dr. Said Ali Taha, or Mr. Said Ali Taha, the tourism expert. Mr. Said, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing, sir? And of course, talking about this good news, choosing Egypt as usual as on top of the destinations for people to visit, either in winter or in summer also. But because of the winter and because of the harsh winter everywhere in the United States and Europe and everything, people, tourists or people on their holidays, they look for different colorful, warm places. If you like to elaborate over the news of choosing Egypt on top of the best destinations to visit.
Good morning to all. This is very important topic because I have just finished the Nile cruise, and the people came from different sites. They've been talking about how it is warm there and how it is the climate is changing, affecting all over the world, and we still have good weather here in Egypt. And they enjoyed the swimming pool in the Nile cruise as well. So imagine in February you are in a swimming pool in an open area. This was very good for them, and the show how are they very happy. And of course, this is one of the factors that affect a lot in the tourism field. When you come from different weathers and you are looking for a warm place, regarding the antiquities and all that we have around, this is very, very, known all over the world and very renowned all over the world, especially the antiquities that we have here in Egypt, all over the country. I'm not talking about only that classic Nile cruise between Luxor and Aswan, or vice versa from Aswan to Luxor. Also, we used to have a very long Nile cruise from Cairo to Aswan as well. This gives you a chance not only to visit the historical sites, also when the boat is sailing in the River Nile, you can enjoy the environment around, and also you can see the peasants and the farmers working and the fishermen fishing in the River Nile. This is also a very, very good part to reflect the culture, and I mean the actual culture, not only the antiquities and the monumental sites. The people always asking about the actual life, how the people live, and they always asking why you have some unfinished buildings, and we explain to them all that reasons behind this, and what happened in the Arabic Spring, and the development and the progress that's going on. And I have some repeater tourists that they talk about. We've been here about 10 years ago and 15 years ago, and everything had been changed, and there is a lot of progress and development going on. So this gives you an idea how this impact to tourism field in general. Also, we have to consider very much the social media in nowadays, because it's very, very important and very effective than the paid announces in TV or in a magazine or anywhere, because this reflects the word of mouth. I mean, it's face-to-face advertising. If you had a trip in Egypt and then you go back with a very good impression,
Of
so
course.
you are going to talk to your friends and your family about what you have experienced here in Egypt. And this is very important because this is in my opinion, is a good propaganda and good advertising for Egypt, because it comes from an expert, one who had this experience here in Egypt, and then he's talking about his impression and what he feels and what he faced. Of course, I'm not going to neglect. There are some problems, and we're still going on to organize it, and we need to do more best efforts to get rid of these problems and these things that can face the tourists. Now it's very easy. You can book your ticket for the historical sites on the internet, and that's helps a lot to get rid of those long queues that you can find next to the Egyptian Museum, of course, in Tahrir Square or in the Pyramids area. And now there are a lot of work going on in the Pyramids area. They are going to organize a visit, and we are going to use electric buses to take you from the entrance and main entrance to the site, and to enjoy the historical sightseeing around the area will be easy. And this is very helpful to keep or to maintain the antiquities, because sometimes the vibration of the big buses and the big, cars and the normal fuel affect the environments there. But those electric cars and those electric buses will help a lot to keep the environment in a good condition.
Right. Since you talked about, of course, we totally understand, or tourism is depending so much over ratings, and a site like that, rating Egypt amongst the top destinations is very important to the venues of tourism. But also the modern ways of rating tourism, on top of the modern ways, is the touristic experience and the word of mouth. It's very important. When a tourist goes back and he talks about his experience in one country and how he enjoyed it, and the food and everything, and the friendly people and the good hotels, and everything that is related to his experience with the visit, is becoming on equal foot of importance with the ratings. If you'd like to elaborate.
Yeah. The tourism industry deals with different, factors and different. It's not only tourism. It depends on the way of, let's say, talking about traffic, for example, the paved roads, the service that you can receive in a hotel, or the even those groceries that goes to the hotel, if it's not in a good condition, will be affect in tourism field. That man who has a taxi and he deals with one of the tourists and he's exaggerating the price or the rent of the taxi. That man who is riding a camel there in the Pyramids area, and sometimes. So a lot of factors in tourism. And some of these factors has nothing to see with the organization of the tourism itself. So it needs a kind of like a council to organize all these factors and to be like a big chain being organized and being to, because as I said, it's kind of chain. If this chain is not very well suitable, will affect you can do your best offers and the good service, and then a little thing can affect this impression that the tourist go back to his country because he faced a little problem with one who didn't understand or who doesn't understand what is tourism and what is very important tourism to this country, because nowadays we're getting back to the numbers of tourism that we used to have it before Arabic Spring. And I can tell nowadays we have different nationalities, and some markets is still starting after the COVID-19. Now I can see some people who come from Far East, from Japan and from China. They are going to start the tourism. Of course, less numbers nowadays, but with hopefully to be increased with passing of time and with more offers that we are going to offer. And I think we need to facilitate a lot of things to those people to feel that they are here in this country as not a normal tourist, no, as a guest. As a guest means that, and we know about the Arabic tradition and the Egyptian traditions, how we receive a guest.
Right, and also talk to us about the elements of attracting tourists once they set their feet in the country. I mean, the different seasons have different attractions. Winter season would have its elements for attraction for other people. What type of tourists that who are interested to visit Egypt in winter, and what elements do attract them? Is it the museums? Is it the, the gastronomy, the food, the cuisine? Is it the places that they visit? What exactly, who are the tourists who come to Egypt in winter, and what elements do they get attracted to?
I can resume telling you all these things attract the tourists, but of course, the top factor that attracts the tourists is antiquities. We were not going to neglect that because Egypt is so famous, and this is the classic factor that we have in tourism. I can tell more than 150 years ago, when Thomas Cook, that famous travel agency, arranged the Nile cruise in the River Nile. That was in 1875. Imagine it, 1875. We started the first Nile cruise in the River Nile. At that time was, the first, cruise. And then it became fashionable with the passing of time. And nowadays, I can tell you that there are more than 90 boats sailing from Luxor to Aswan and vice versa from Aswan to Luxor. Of course, sometimes it causes a traffic in the River Nile and in the historical sightseeing. But those people who are leading these and organizing these programs, they are trying to facilitate it a bit. We do some kind of queuing between the different boats. So now we leave 10 boats and then another 5 boats and so on, because if the whole passengers and all the tourists going to the historical site will be a big rush there. So this is a very important factor. Also, we are going to organize a bit the trips, like, some people, they like to go to a kind of adventure, like safari tours. That's in the different oases that we have in the western desert of Egypt, like Farafra, Dakhla, and Karga, Bahriya. Also, there are some people, they are trying, especially old people, they are searching for, a warm place and a quiet place. So it's very fashionable nowadays that you can find a lot of people heading to Siwa oasis, especially in winter time, because during the day it's warm. Of course, it's getting a bit cold at night, but during the day you feel that at no less than 25 degrees centigrade. And this is very important for them because they are coming from places, they are snowing there and less under, degrees. And so also, even we are in winter time, but there are a lot of people going to Hurghada and Sharm el Sheikh, so many. And some of those people, they got some programs all inclusive. So they have a week, the full week, all inclusive is not only food and drinks as well, and they is enjoying the warm shore there and the warm weather in in Sharm el Sheikh or Hurghada, also in Zafaga and Marsa Alam. And then sometimes they fly from Sharm el Sheikh to Cairo for 1 day trip, or sometimes from Luxor and Safaga for 1 day trip to the Valley of the Kings and Luxor monumental sites. So we have different types and the variety of tourism programs that we need to do more efforts to organize it a bit and to make a lot of advertising for these different programs to get more numbers of tourists, because we still need to increase this because this is very, very important for the economy in Egypt.
Right. Mr. Said Ali Taha, the tourism expert, would like to thank you so much, and you have a good day. And we're going to go to a short break, and we'll come to continue the breakfast show, so stay with us.